According to the National Center for Children in Poverty, about 15 million children, which is 21% of all children in America, live below the federal poverty threshold. Research is clear that poverty is the single most threat to children's well-being. In this case, if we know that this is the greatest threat to children, why do we continue to limit the resources that they have? Poverty causes there to be less opportunities for children as they grow up, and we should increase these opportunities by fostering lasting relationships and offering more one-on-one mentoring programs. Together, we can make a difference in these children's lives. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about poverty and education and how the two are related. First, I have to tell you what poverty is. According to Amartya Sen, an Indian economist and philosopher, poverty is the lack of capability to function effectively in society. That directly relates inadequate education to a form of poverty. I'm going to go over a little bit of statistics for you for children in poverty. According to the National Center for Children in Poverty, 41% of all children under the age of 18 live in low-income families. For the ages of 18 to 64, 29%. And for 65 and above, 28% live in low-income families. Higher levels of education among parents decrease the likelihood of children living in low-income or poor families. As you can see here, each of these colors is represented by an amount of education that a parent has. The more education, the less likely that these kids live in poverty. So education and poverty are directly linked. According to the book Turning High Poverty Schools into High Performing Schools, written by William H. Perrett, 70% of children entering the 9th grade read below grade level. 1 out of 3 minority students in poverty attend a school where 40% of students drop out. Children are twice as likely to be assigned to an uncertified or unconditioned teacher in schools with large enrollment of poor students. Based on these statistics that I have shared with you today, I hope you have a better understanding of how poverty and education are directly linked based on the facts. But how does poverty really influence learning in specific terms? That's what we're going to go over next. The influence poverty has on learning. We can say things such as reduced verbal and listening skills. According to the book Educating the Other America by Susan Newman, students from impoverished households tend to have lower levels of verbal reasoning than other children. Bad school conditions. Schools get their funding from state taxes, from the property taxes. If a school is built in a low-income neighborhood where the property is not as well taxed as other neighborhoods, they're not going to have as much money to put into books, infrastructure, or even the payment of their teachers. Therefore, the quality of the schools go down. The level of education goes down. So kids are already expected to fail in these types of schools. Children move around a lot because of parents trying to find stable jobs or even dealing with other issues such as divorce or other family issues. Moving decreases the amount of learning being done by the child. It also has social impacts. They have to get new friends. They can't be involved in the same sports maybe as they were, or have the same coaches. When children know that their teachers care about them, they become far more inclined to trust and engage. But if a child is moving around a lot, or if teachers are not sticking around, then how are they supposed to gain that trust? They can't. Poverty not only affects education at the institutional level, but it affects learners on a personal level. Opportunities seem limited for poor students, and the children's ability and willingness to take advantage of existing opportunities may be limited. I believe that the amount of resources that we offer can grow tremendously, therefore providing children living in poverty with a greater chance of succeeding in life. For instance, I'm going to give you a personal story. My husband grew up in southern Georgia. His father and his mother both grew up in very, very, very low income neighborhoods. Neither of them made it to high school. They both dropped out. So that's what their parents did before them as well. So if we continue this trend, my husband thankfully did graduate high school, and now he's enrolled in college, but he will be the first in his family to graduate from college. So how can schools best support children living in poverty? First, we can fix chronic absenteeism. According to Ann Wick, the director of education reform at the George W. Bush Institute, chronic absenteeism can be defined as the student who is absent at least 10% of the school year. 2 days out of a month is equal to 100 hours of instruction for a student. If they do this every year, they can miss up to 2 years total of school. This can be due to not having reliable transportation, not having parents who care if they go to school or not, housing insecurities, or even just feeling disconnected. So what can we do to fix these things? We can build partnerships. Reach out to local nonprofits in the poverty communities. There are nonprofits that work nonstop to try to fix these issues, but they need people to help. They can't do it all on their own. We can offer after-school programs that can help children living in poverty develop friendships between each other. Like I said before, the more friendships, the more people want to go to school. I know I didn't want to go to school if my friends were sick. Introduce a panel of teachers or administrators that are success stories for these children. Find some people, like my husband, who made it out, who defied the rules of poverty, and show them that there is something to believe in. Volunteer your time. One-on-one mentorship programs can increase personal connections. Finding a child who lives in poverty and connecting with them and giving them a reason to go to school and to get their education is huge. Host tutoring sessions after school for students that need help. These are just some of the ways that I think that we can help these communities and these schools. Today I presented you with the staggering numbers of children going to school in poverty, how their living situations affect their learning capabilities, and how we as adults can help them in these situations. I am passionate about this because I have witnessed these stereotypes come true, but I have also seen them not come true because someone who cared enough to make a difference stepped up. If more people took a small amount of time out of their day to try to make the effort to change the way that our education system is, we could save a child every single day. We're not trying to solve poverty. We're not trying to solve the education system as a whole. We're just trying to save a child's life. And I think that is the most important thing. Thank you.